Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Okay my friends, the time has come. Yes my dears, it is time to go ahead and place your pre-order for your 2025 annuals from Creekside. Beginning tomorrow morning, Sunday, we are going to have all of the annuals live on the website, gardeningwithcreekside.com. You can go ahead and begin pre-ordering your annuals for 2025. We did this last year and y'all took full advantage of it. It is such a fun time to go ahead and start planting your gardens for 2025. I know it sounds crazy. We're still in 2024, but here we are. So what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about some of my favorite annuals. I'm going to talk about some of my favorite new introductions that will be hitting the market this coming spring. And then I am going to share with you some of my all-time favorite plants, the ones that I go to over and over again because they are absolute great winners. So get out your gardening journal, get out some sort of notepad, notebook, get ready to take some screenshots, whatever it is that you want to do to take notes. Because like I said, all of the annuals will be live on the website tomorrow, Sunday, that is November the 17th, that you can go ahead and begin ordering your annuals. We will ship them to you when it is appropriate for your growing zone. So that would just depends on, obviously, if you're in zone 9 or 10, you're gonna get yours first. If you're in zone 4, you're gonna be kind of there at the end. This ensures that you get the plants that you want, right? So we can go ahead, you can order those, and we can just take track of those and then send them to you when it is appropriate for your growing time. So without further ado, here we go. Of course, we have a great relationship with our friends at Proven Winners, and every year they send us the new introductions for the next year. This past summer, we were able to see and put our hands on and grow those new introductions for 2025. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite ones, the ones that really performed well in our North Carolina Zone 8A garden. There are 3 new Supertunias that are coming out. Supertunias will forever be one of the most popular plants, I think, with Proven Winners because they are such great, amazing petunias. I was super impressed with the Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Vein. This is a gorgeous, purpley, plum-colored petunia. I had it in the deck boxes at the house and it was gorgeous. Nice, tight, compact habit. That's why we love those mini vistas, because while they still are quite vigorous, they are more contained than say like a vista petunia. So next year, because I've already started making my plans, what I'm going to be doing in my gardens, I'm going to be using the Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Vein, and we have those 2 backyard beds and we have the 4 corners of those beds. I'm going to do a mass planting of the Mini Vista Plum Vein in that area because they are just tight habit, gorgeous flowers. You cannot beat this great new petunia. Some of the ones that I know that y'all are super excited about because either one, you were able to get your hands on them early like we did, or you just from seeing them like here at the garden center, oh my gosh, people were freaking out over the new tiaras. So there is Supertunia Tiara Pink, stunning, Supertunia Tiara Blue, which is a nice, rich, deep blue purple, and both of those tiaras have like a white throat and then they come out with their color. The Tiara Pink, I think, was one of the absolute favorites of our customers when they were coming here to the nursery and seeing them. My plan for next year is that I'm going to use it in the signature garden. We have those raised beds when you enter into the signature garden. We're going to do a mass planting of that in the bed right there. Now, I believe, you know how things can go. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of my next all-time favorite new introductions behind that Supertunia Tiara Pink. What am I talking about? The Color Blaze Coleus Mini Me Chartreuse. Y'all, people have freaked out over this plant. You think it's a coleus, what is the big deal? Well, the big deal is because it is such an amazing performer. You get this gorgeous chartreuse yellow, very vibrant color. It can do sun, it can do shade. It's nice and petite. It is very stocky. We never had to deadhead it. It only got to be, you know, in that maybe 18 inches, 24 inches tall. And even all the way through mid-November, it still performed like a rock star. It really looks like a little mini shrub. So my idea is to put on where you enter into the signature garden, we have the Sprinter boxwoods. In front of that, put a hedge of the mini-me chartreuse, and then in front of that, put the tiara pink. We'll see how that turns out, but that's kind of in my brain when I'm thinking, because it really does act like a little mini shrub. So whether you want to put it in a container or a landscape, I personally love this mini-me chartreuse. And like I said, our customers, every time they came in, because we had it up at the gate bed and we had it down here at the nursery, freaking out over this plant because it is such a stunning plant. Here at the nursery, because we always have a flower bed that is dedicated to the new introductions, right beside mini-me chartreuse, I had the new Aromagica purple. Y'all, this plant, if you are looking for a no-fuss plant that does not need to be deadheaded, bugs do not like it, it was not a super heavy feeder, it was not like a, you know, you don't have to fertilize it all the time. Aromagica purple is going to be what you want. It has glorious dark green foliage, these massive deep rich purple flower heads on it. As the plant kind of naturally grows, it's in this nice mounded habit. The flowers are massive. As the plant grows, it buries those old blooms so you don't have to deadhead it. Has a lovely fragrance to it. The pollinators were all over it. It is a winner. It is a stunning plant. It can handle the heat, the humidity, all of those horrible conditions that we have here in the South with all the different bugs and all sorts of things. That Aromagica purple is stunning. We had it right beside that mini-me chartreuse. Again, gorgeous combination. You are going to want to have that plant in your garden for sure. Now, if you're like us in the South, or maybe you're out west somewhere and you have extreme heat, we have got some options for you. There's a whole new line of scaevolas coming out from Proven Winners. It is the Stardiva line, and there's actually there's three different colors. There's a white, there's a pink, and the blue. I was most impressed with the blue. The blue for me did a phenomenal job. It didn't ever wither, it just kept producing. And what's fun about the Stardiva scaevolas is that their blooms are star-shaped, not fan-shaped, like most scaevolas are. So you get more coverage on that flower with this new Stardiva line. So those scaevolas, they do great in hanging baskets. You can put them in the landscape, but that Stardiva blue was absolutely gorgeous and just kept performing when other plants started to wither away in the season. Kufiyas. Now, Kufiyas, the Totally Tempted is a new series. This is going to have 4 in this series, and without a doubt, hands down, everybody fell in love with the frosted violets. I had frosted violets in the deck boxes, and when we had the signature experience here at the nursery and the house, we had people, you know, could walk through and see all of those. They were just dying over the Totally Tempted frosted violets Kufia. It is a gorgeous bicolor Kufia, just a beautiful shade of that like creamy, like it is that frosted violets, right? So you've got the cream and the purple all in there together. Was lovely. Gives you some height in your containers or your landscape. Love that. So there's, like I said, there's 4 in the series. You can check them all out. My personal favorite though was the frosted violets. And then salvias, right? Love me some salvias. We have a new unplugged. So the unplugged white was my personal favorite out of the new salvias that were coming out. Has a gorgeous, like a silver tone to its foliage, and then of course those pure white flowers. Again, it stays nice and petite. It's not going to overwhelm a container, so you could easily put this unplugged white in a container. You can do it like what we had it, and had it in mass in the landscape, and it will do really well. Of course, your salvias are huge pollinators. pollinator attractors. They love that plant. But that unplugged white was, again, another one that kept on going all the way through here until November, until we finally said, okay, we're done, and we pulled them out, but just kept on going. That unplugged white, you're going to love that one. And then last but certainly not least was the new dahlia, the Virtuoso Pinkerific. This dahlia was absolutely glorious. It was fantastic. I had it in the deck boxes, had it here at the nursery. In the spring, early summer, in the deck boxes, it just was performing beautifully. Kind of in the heat of the summer, I noticed they kind of slowed down. The foliage was still really well, but as soon as we started going into the fall, man, they cranked out those flowers and were unbelievable. That Pinkerific, without a doubt, was my favorite. Has almost like this collage of colors in it. Obviously it is mainly pink, but when you really kind of studied it and the way that the light hit it, you would almost see like a little bit of hint of purple in there, some different shades of pink. Glorious, and it makes a great cut flower. We did cut flowers for both the nursery and the house, and that Pinkerific was beautiful. So if you like dahlias, if you're excited about dahlias, then you would love this Pinkerific. Again, it was another one that would stop people in their tracks when they came here at the nursery, and they absolutely loved it. There are a ton of other different, maybe different colors within a series that I've talked about, and different options for you. We have all of those available on the website. So if you saw something on social media throughout the season that people were talking about, we have those available for you. But if you are excited about some of these new introductions, like I am, would highly, highly, highly encourage you, go ahead and place your pre-order. That way it guarantees that you're going to get those plants come next season, because their supplies are limited, not only for us, but from proven winners. So that's why we love doing these pre-sales now, is that we can kind of see the trends, see what is really going to be really popular, and then we can restock, we can get more plants from proven winners so that we have hopefully plenty of them available for you come in the spring and the summer if you have a last minute order that you want to place. So get those pre-orders in. Now, those are the new 2025s that I'm very excited about. Now let's talk about all-time favorites, those great, what I call like the workhorses in the garden that I can faithfully count on from year to year. There are 13 of them. I will try to go relatively quickly through them so that we don't get too bogged down. And on some of them, I just did the whole series of a plant, right? Because they are amazing. Petunias. We talked about proven winners is famous for their super petunias. One of my all-time favorites, without a doubt, is the Super Petunia Mini Vista White. This is a classic pure white flower that is nice and tight and compact. It would be like the cousin to Snowdrift, but it's much more controlled, not as vigorous. And in the areas that I need that, I want that more controlled habit on it. My plans are that I'm going to use these in the beds right up beside the patio, right? So I have the sprinter boxwoods and the white shishi camellias. So underneath those, I am going to do a mass planting of the Mini Vista White. You just cannot go wrong with that. And then I'm also going to put them in the flower beds beside where the lanterns are, and then underneath the double play doozy spireas. Classic, beautiful, strong performing petunia, Mini Vista White. Also, the Super Petunia Saffron Finch. If you love a pretty yellow flower, nice and soft, not too harsh, not too bold, Saffron Finch is going to be the one that you want. When it first came out, I love this plant. It is a gorgeous, soft yellow. It plays beautifully with pinks and blues. Whites, obviously, right? So it has a medium vigor to it, very well behaved, and is absolutely a stunning plant. So Super Petunia Saffron Finch is also one of my all-time favorites. The whole series, the begonias. If you know anything about Jenny, if you've listened to me talk about my gardens, I'm a huge fan of begonias. Two different series. The Double Up series, with your nice mounded habit on them. The blooms are smaller, but they're covered in flowers. And we are going to use the pink. So the Double Up pink begonia is going to go in in the front. So we're going to put it right outside the porch. And then the new terrace garden, that whole little long skinny flower bed that runs the length of our driveway, we're going to do a mass planting of that. The begonias, drought tolerant, bugs don't like them, gorgeous nonstop flowers. They're not heavy feeders. They are no fuss plants. These are not divas in the garden as far as their maintenance, but they are definitely the star of the garden. So I'm going to be using the Double Up Pink in that one and the Surefire begonias. Surefire begonias, just like the Double Up begonias, can do sun or shade. The main difference is between your Surefires and your Double Ups is going to be your size. So Surefires are going to be taller, a little bit bigger. They're not going to have quite as many flowers on them, but the flowers that they do have are bigger, if that makes any sense. So they're still an absolute stunning display, and we are going to use red this year. So up at the entrance to the garden, we are going to use the Surefire red, both planted underneath the mailbox and then in the 2 urns that flank the entrance to the nursery. These plants, if you have the conditions like what I have up there, it can be complete shade, then it can be a hot intense sun different parts of the day. So the sun is really weird up there. This is going to be a perfect plant for those areas and absolutely stunning. A whole series, y'all. The Rockin' series of salvias. These are just massive producers that your pollinators, your hummingbirds love. So whether you want a deep purple, if you want a hot pink with the fuchsia, if you want a lovely blue, you can do the blue suede shoes. They come in several different colors. They get some nice height to them. Again, very drought tolerant. Japanese beetles don't love them. You don't get budworms on them. They are just great plants. Probably one of the absolute most popular ones, without a doubt, would be the Rockin' Playing the Blues salvia. Has kind of a silverish hue to it and a nice steel blue kind of flower. It is stunning. Great performer. Your pollinators love these plants. So the Rockin' series of salvias are definitely some of my favorite, along with Suncredible Yellow Sunflower, right? We love a reblooming sunflower around here because these Suncredible Yellows will basically in the landscape be like a 3 foot by 3 foot, 4 by 4, depends on how much water you give them, and they just bloom non-stop. Had this behind the garden shed this year, and it is gorgeous, right? A beautiful plant. The more you cut on it, because they make great cut flowers, the more you cut on it, the tighter it is and the more flowers that it produces. So especially if you have kids, this is a great plant to have. Because again, the more you cut on it, if you have little ones in your life that like to go pick the flowers, let them pick the sunflowers, because I promise in the long run it will actually help the plant be nice and tight, compact, and more floriferous, so you'll get more flowers throughout the season. Another whole series, the Color Blaze Coleus. Again, color blazes like those begonias in that they can do sun or shade and anything in between. You might get a little color variation if you say you have color blaze Sedona Sunset in full sun, or you have Sedona Sunset in shade. You're going to get a little color variation, but these plants are the prime example of where you can bring color and interest to your garden without having any flowers. You don't need flowers all the time, right? We just want color in our garden. We have done like Wicked Witch and Lime Time together in the berm. We did that last year together, and they were massive and they were beautiful. You can have tons of color and interest in your garden without the flowers. Now, the great thing about these color blazes is that they do get some height to them, so you can easily put the flowers in front, and it is a perfect backdrop to maybe that Suncredible Sunflower or your salvias or your begonias or your supertunias, right? So it is a great companion piece with those other flowering annuals in your garden. Purple fountain grass. I am a huge fan of grasses, whether it be a perennial grass or an annual grass. They bring color, they bring texture, they bring movement to the garden, and it's hard to beat the purple fountain grass. We had it in the signature garden this year, and it was absolutely stunning, right? They get huge. They put on those beautiful creamy white plumes. There is movement with the least little bit of a breeze. It starts to sway in the breeze. So I am a huge fan of that color, the purple fountain grass, because of that color difference, right? Nice, deep, near black foliage on it, and then you put it with a lot of green in the garden, bright colors. It really stands out, and it is a stunning plant. The Cleome, the Senorita Rosalita, which is a beautiful pink Cleome, or the Senorita Blanca, which is a beautiful pure white. Cleome is so underused in the garden. Y'all, please do me a favor. If you have a sunny spot in your garden that you need some height in, right, buy at least one Cleome this year, whether it be Rosalita or Blanca. I promise you, you are going to love it. Personally, I would recommend, especially if you have a long growing season like we do here have in the South, you're going to want to put it in the landscape. It is a massive plant that has an extensive root system. If you put it in a pot and you have a long growing season like we do, it's either going to overtake your pot or it's going to get root bound. So it does really good in the landscape because it has as much room for those roots to go. It is literally a nonstop bloomer. Right behind the camera right now is the Senorita Blanca. Mid-November, she is still blooming. She is still nice and tall, and she is covered in flowers. We have Senorita Rosalita right over here in the signature garden, still going strong. They are thornless. They do not have the odor that your traditional Cleome have, and they do not produce seeds. So you're not going to have 10,000 Cleomes next year or the following year afterwards. I cannot talk about how much we love Cleome here at Creekside because it is such a great performer. Super Petunia Vista Jazzberry was an outstanding performer for us this year. As in years past, ever since they first brought it to us. We had Super Petunia Vista Jazzberry in this mass planting along the raised bed on kind of the entrance of the signature garden. It was glorious. It is a gorgeous raspberry pink purple color to it. It is a Vista, so it has good vigor and it will spread, and it just provides massive color to whether you're gonna do a hanging basket, a container, or like what we did in the landscape. Super Petunia Vista Jazzberry is a fantastic plant. One more series that I have for you, the Diamond series of Euphorbia. I love the diamonds. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and they certainly are a gardener's best friend as well. So whether you want Diamond Mountain, as the name suggests, is going to be a nice, taller, more vigorous plant, very light and airy. It'll get to be in that 2-foot range. I had it at the house in a part shade bed. It absolutely loves the full sun, but it's also a little bit more shade tolerant than I think some people think it is. So Mountain gets nice and big. Then you have Diamond Frost. Frost and Mountain at the garden center are going to look exactly the same. They're light, they're airy. At the garden center, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's once you put them in the containers on the landscape that Mountain's going to take off, and then Frost is going to stay a little bit more compact. Very open, very light, very airy, gorgeous plant. Frost plays really well together with other plants in a container or the landscape. And then finally there is Diamond Snow. Diamond Snow is going to be your more tight, compact. I tell folks, if you want a solid pop of white, then go with Diamond Snow. Still gives a little bit of height to it, but it is a really compact plant, and it literally just looks like white. It looks like snow, and it does really well. Again, here it is mid-November, and we have got Diamond Frost still going strong in the signature garden. I don't even know if we water soluble fertilized it this year at all. I don't think we did. While that area is on irrigation, it doesn't get a ton of water. The bugs are a big deal for me. If bugs don't like the plant, then I'm all for it, because that means it's really low maintenance. And so all of those diamond euphorbias are going to fall into that category: low maintenance, drought tolerant once they're established, and then just non-stop performers for that full sun to part sun area of your garden. Got two more for you. Certainly not the least of these are of the categories. Blew my mind of Ovulus XL. If you have a garden that is hot, humid, is not on irrigation, you don't like to fertilize, but you want flowers, and especially you want low growing flowers, Blew My Mind XL is going to be the plant for you. It is a beautiful, has foliage that is in that silverly blue-green foliage with pure blue flowers on it. It is extremely drought tolerant. It can handle the heat and humidity like an absolute champ. I know we have friends that live in Florida. A salesperson actually for Proven Winners, and he sells the Hound out of Blew My Mind XL in Florida. So if it can handle Florida gardens, trust me, it can handle our gardens as well. It is one of those plants in the springtime. It may look small, it may look a little wimpy, but that's just because the heat has not hit yet. When the heat hits, it takes off. It hates to be fertilized. Oftentimes it will stop blooming when you fertilize it. So that means low maintenance for us. Get some Blew My Mind XL Evolvulus. You will love it. Along with the Mojave Portulacas. Portulaca is another one that's a very low growing, low maintenance, drought tolerant, loves the heat. The hotter it gets, the happier it is. And whether you want to do a bright, beautiful yellow, a hot pink fuchsia, an orange, a red, it does not matter. There are colors within that Mojave series that you can choose from. I personally am planning on using the Mojaves a lot in the gardens, probably at the new terrace gardens up where Hydrangea Hill is, because that area absolutely bakes. It is so incredibly hot. The Mojaves would be perfect there because they're going to act like a ground cover. The flowers are so fun because they open and close with the sun. I had the Mojave fuchsia in a hanging basket with a mangave at the chicken coop. Still there, still doing great. But when those blooms open, they are so big. The flowers on the Mojave Portulaca are massive, and they make a stunning, gorgeous display. So it doesn't matter what color you like, they all work really well, and your pollinators love them. I have never seen so many pollinators except on that Mojave yellow. This was 2 years ago, and we put it in the water trough. Absolutely covered in your honeybees and bumblebees. And if you put it in a container, put it in a hanging basket, it trails over. It is a gorgeous, very heat tolerant annual that is going to just produce flowers throughout the entire season, and that you're going to love it. So that is those are the plants. I could probably continue to talk for another couple of hours about annuals that I love. It's kind of like asking, you know, who's your favorite child or who do you love the most? It's really hard to answer sometimes because these plants are absolutely amazing. So whether you're looking for a full sun garden, I think most of what I was talking about today were a lot of sun annuals because that's what I predominantly have. But stay tuned, because as we go out throughout the season and we're going in these winter months, for me, that's one of the most fun things to do in the winter, is to begin dreaming and thinking of next year's gardens. We're going to do more series on this with the annuals. So whether you're looking for pollinator attractors, drought tolerant, rabbit resistant, shade gardens, whatever it is, I'd love for one, put it in the description, the comment section rather, and ask me, you know, say I would love annuals focusing on this or annuals focusing on that. We'll do, of course, the perennials and the shrubs and all of those things as well. But go ahead. The orders can start coming in on tomorrow, Sunday, November the 17th. Just have fun. If you are not signed up for our emails or text messages, I would highly encourage you to do that, because we have got some great sales coming up this holiday season, and the only way you're going to know about that is if you are on that email list or that text messaging list, because I do not want you to miss out on any of the great specials that we're going to be headed your way this holiday season. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends. of the annuals will be live on the website tomorrow, Sunday, that is November the 17th, that you can go ahead and begin ordering your annuals.